I'm joined now from Brussels by Margot Wallström, Vice President of the European Commission. Your boss, José Manuel Barroso, said the treaty isn't dead, the treaty is alive. Can you explain to voters what they would have to do to kill it?
I think, first of all, if we are serious about democracy, I think we have to understand why the Irish people voted no. That must be sort of the first stage, and this is what the Irish and what we will contribute to do until the heads of state and governments meet.
Presumably they voted no because they don't like the treaty, but your boss is saying it will go on. I'm just asking you, what would they have to do not to have it?
I think you just have to find out, and I think the Irish government will make the analysis, and we will also, through the Eurobarometer, try to find out more. Exactly as we did after the French and the Dutch votes as well, and the answers were very different actually if you compare what the voters in France and in the Netherlands said. So that's the first stage,
said no.
And then they will have to discuss.
But is there anything voters could do?
What to do?
Is there anything voters could do to get rid of this treaty? In a democracy.
In a democracy, then you listen to the concerns and you see, is there anything we can do to meet those concerns? What exactly was it that they were worried about and that made them say no?
But you see that
the political leaders have invested so much political capital and time and energy to try to get a new machinery, to get the EU to work better. So of course they will not give up easily. They will try to find a way forward, because we need to make it more democratic and more open and more effective.
But do you see that the fundamental problem here is that many voters throughout Europe think that the EU is an undemocratic imposition, and they don't object to membership of the EU, they just object to the way it's being run and things are imposed on them. And when voters say no, you say we're going to go on and trying to find a way to make you say yes.
No, I think that what we have done here is, of course, that member states decide themselves on how they want to ratify a new treaty. All the leaders have, of course, signed up to this particular treaty. And in Ireland, according to the national constitution, they have to have a referendum. And if there is 18 member states having said yes, and one member state saying no, then I think all member states will want to have a say in all of this. And of course you have to analyze why there was a no. Is there anything we can remedy? Is there anything that can be corrected? And that analysis has to take place first of all.
But just to go back to the point, for the voters, the only voters who've had a say on this treaty, the only ones, the Irish voters, very intelligent, very well-informed people, quite a big turnout, they said no, and yet the process still goes on. So therefore, that is absolutely what people mean by the democratic deficit.
But let's leave it to the leaders to discuss what to do in a situation like this. And remember, the problems have not gone away because the Irish have said no. The problems of a European Union with a democratic deficit, with a number of new challenges, with 27 member states and not 12, and with the machinery that was designed for 12 and not 27, the problems have not gone away. And this is still what we expect our political leaders to tackle. If we want to be effective fighting climate change or dealing with high oil prices, then we'd better equip the European Union to do that effectively and more democratically. Okay. And that was the starting point of this whole discussion. And I think that's where we have to focus our efforts right now.
Margot Wallström, thank you very much for joining us from Brussels.